welcome to Dancing with Bella. So I decided that today I'm going to talk to you guys about how to rent without any verifiable income. I know this can be very hard for us strippers, especially when we first start apartment hunting or house hunting, because a lot of the landlords will actually not rent out to us just because we don't get any pay stubs or we basically don't get any proof of income. So if you're a stripper and you've been trying to rent and no one will rent out to you, or if you're thinking about renting, then hopefully some of these tips that I give you guys will help you guys out. And at the end, I'm also going to give you guys some advice of other options you guys have in case some of my tips don't help you guys. So the first thing I want to focus on is trying to get some verification of income. Some documents that can be used as proof of income can be tax returns. For us strippers, we get 1099s. Any tax documentations can definitely help you get a step closer to getting approved. But if you're a newbie stripper and you're trying to rent out, then obviously you're not going to have your 1099s because you haven't been doing this long enough. But if you're a dancer who's been doing this for a couple years and you have your 1099s, then you can definitely show those documents to the landlords you're trying to rent out from. And they might actually approve you depending if you make 3 times of what the monthly rent is. Not all apartment complexes will need you to be 3 times the monthly rent. Some will actually do 2 times the monthly rent, but for the most part you do have to be making 3 times the rent. So yeah, that's something you can definitely look into. Just in case the tax documentation isn't enough, you can also ask your strip club manager to write you an employment verification letter. That letter is basically just a reference saying that you work somewhere and that you're able to afford to pay the rent. So yeah, what I like to do is just go up to my manager and say, hey, I'm trying to rent an apartment. They won't let me because I don't have any income verification. Can you please type me a letter saying that I work here? And the letter will basically have like a letterhead template with the company's name, the phone number, the address, also how much I make, how long I've been working there, how often I get paid, what my position in that club is. I get them to sign it, date it, and I also ask them to add my information like my name, my phone number, the address I wrote down on the rental application. I can't remember if it has to be notarized, but I don't think it has to be. I think one of the clubs just went a step further to do that. But yeah, notarization might not have even been in the picture. I don't even know why I'm saying it, but yeah, anyways. So yeah, I just talked to the management, and I feel like with the tax documentations and the employment verification letter, I definitely feel like you have a higher chance on getting approved. The next thing I want to suggest to you guys is getting a hold of your bank statements. The landlords also want to see your banking history, like your withdrawals, your deposits, how much you have in the bank, if you have enough to cover 12 months of rent or 6 months, depending how long you'll be renting with them and all that. You can also use that with the employment verification letter. They go hand in hand. If you don't have one document, then you could probably use the other document and kind of combine them together and stuff. It just depends what documents you have or what documents you can obtain. But yeah, those are just some ways that you can verify income if you're a stripper or if you're self-employed like a freelancer, contract worker, or if you get payments from the government or something like that. This next option was actually recommended to me by one of my fellow co-workers at a strip club when I first started in the stripper industry, and she basically recommended for me to get a cosigner. And that's basically what I'm going to recommend for you guys to do as well, is to find someone to vouch for you. It can be a relative, a friend, someone you trust, but this person has to have good credit, a steady job, and this person has to be trustworthy as well, because if you stop paying your payments or if you have any debt left behind with the apartment complex that you're going to be renting from, then this person basically has to promise that they're going to take care of your debts and your payments in case you just vanish out of nowhere. I don't know, it's just like a renter's verification that they're going to have their money regardless of whatever happens. And to be honest, I feel like this is the easiest way to go. Just find someone who's willing to give you a hand and, you know, co-sign for you. Basically, the landlords will give you an application for them to fill out, and once it comes back as approved or rejected, you know, they'll let you know if you have a place to live or not. But yeah, I also remember one of my customers telling me that there's a website out there. I don't remember what the website is, but if you guys research it or something, then you guys might find it. But supposedly there's strangers out there who are willing to co-sign for you. You just have to fill out some type of information, I think. But yeah, I don't know, I feel like that can be kind of risky. So if you guys do it, you know, just be careful and try to research it as well as possible. But yeah, that would probably be my last option. Find someone who you're close to, you know. I feel like that works out better, you know, like your mom, your dad, or your sister, your friend, I don't know. The next tip I want to give you guys is to save 3 to 12 months rent in advance. Sometimes money talks, right? So I feel like that can help you, give you an advantage over having no proof of income. Because yeah, there's definitely landlords out there who will rent you out if you have money up front. They won't even look at your credit or anything else, you know. If you have that money, they'll take it, but you just gotta find the right ones who are willing to work with you. But yeah, try to save up as much as possible. If you're thinking that you're gonna pay $700 a month, you know, save up over $2,100, and that will get you your first 3 months covered. I know that could be a little tough, especially if you're trying to move out as soon as possible, but if you don't want to work with money, then you can also work with credit. Sometimes credit is like gold, especially in big cities. So yeah, if saving's too much for you, you know, work on your credit. And if you have a good rental record, then that can also help you get an apartment. Sometimes if you have previous landlords that will vouch for you, saying that you've paid your rent every month and stuff, you can use that as a rental verification reference for your new landlords. That way they can see that you've paid your rent on time with the previous landlords, and that will basically give you a good clean name going into this application process. Yeah, that can definitely be a bonus. So start going back and getting the information from the previous places you rented from. That way you can be prepared once you go apply to the new place that you're going to be renting from. So yeah, I just want to throw that out there real quick. I'm going to move on to the other options. If you search through Craigslist, the newspaper, or other local ads, you can also find a private owner. And they're typically easy to work with because they don't require a lot of documents. They'll usually just ask you for the first month's rent, the deposit, and they'll also make you sign the contract. But again, most of them are very lenient. Some will run background checks and all that, but you know, it just depends what the landlord's like. But that's definitely a route that I would suggest taking. Just take a couple hours out of your day to look at ads, and I'm sure you'll find something. Now, the last few things I want to talk to you guys about aren't ways to rent an apartment or a house. These are just a few things that have helped me when I just completely ran out of options. But what I'm basically trying to suggest is that if you don't have a place to go to after you get off work, then you can definitely rent out a room in a motel. The only thing is that they can get really expensive. Like here in Texas, I think I was paying either $40 to $100 a night. And California was no better. I was renting rooms for $90 a night to over $100 a night. If you sit down and calculate it, that's over $3,000 a month. But because a lot of people won't rent to me or work with me because I don't have proof of income, that's the road that I've had to take. And I know I'm not the only stripper who's lived in hotels too, and some of you guys might have to take that road as well. But yeah, the last tip I want to give you guys is to find a roommate or to find a room for rent. If you have a cool stripper friend at work, then you know, you might want to talk to them about not having a place to stay. I used to stay with a bartender that I worked with back in the day. She definitely helped me a lot because she never asked for a dime out of me, and she let me save up for my own apartment. And yeah, she was definitely a blessing. So if you have someone nice like that, then you know, they might be willing to let you stay at their house. But you can also stay with a family member or a friend who's not a stripper. You know, sometimes they'll have a spare bedroom where you can crash and, you know, where you can sleep and stuff. But if you're leaning more towards renting a room, then again, going back to looking at Craigslist, the newspaper, your local ads, some of them will run background checks just to make sure that they're not living with like a murderer or someone crazy like that. But you know, pretty much the minimal. You won't need a lot. But yeah, just go through the options and see what suits your situation the best. But to be honest, I wish the rental application process was a lot simpler, but it seems like it's getting harder. But As for now, I just wanted to share my tips with you guys, and if you guys have any other tips for those looking to rent a place, share your experiences with us down below. And if you guys have any other comments, questions, make sure to comment down below. Give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.